This video was brought to you by the Kanji Nichi. Konnichiwa. We're here to talk about Japanese kanji today, and particularly about the kanji nichi. So before we talk about nichi, we need to answer a bigger question. What even is a kanji? Because kanji are not letters, they're not sounds, they're ideas that you equip with sounds later. Think of kanji like items in an RPG inventory. On their own, they have a shape, a core meaning, and a job. The pronunciation depends on how you use them. That's why kanji can feel confusing, and also why they're incredibly powerful. So let's start with one of the most important kanji in the language, nichi. At its core, nichi means sun. Originally, it was literally a picture of the sun in the sky. Over time, that circle became squared off, simplified, and stylized. Now it looks like this: a box, a line in the middle, and that's it. But from this one shape, Japan builds days, dates, time, calendars, and even the name of Japan itself. That's efficiency. So why does nichi also mean day? Here's the first important kanji lesson. Kanji doesn't describe objects, they describe concepts. The sun doesn't just exist, it creates a day. So, nichi means sun, day, sunlight, passage of time, all at once. Japanese doesn't mind that ambiguity, it expects context to do the work. How kanji get pronounced? This is the overwhelming part, but not really. Kanji usually have two kinds of readings: kunyomi, the native Japanese reading, and onyomi, the Chinese-derived reading. Yomi is the Japanese word for read. Onyomi, or the system reading, tends to be nichi or jitsu. These appear when the kanji stack together to form systems, concepts, or labels, or as I like to call them, compounds. Think maybe in the menu text or item names, stats, world lore, things like that. So here's a few examples from some of the gameplay that we've covered in some previous videos. The king uses the word sonohi. He, as onyomi reading, means that day. He is referring to that day everyone is waiting for when peace will be restored to the land. In this case, the kanji is on its own and plainly means day. The shell hermit here actually uses two nichi compounds. The first one is a combination of the kanji ima, meaning now, and nichi for day, now day, or today. This one uses some irregular readings, and when together is read as kyo. The second one uses the kanji mei for light or bright, followed by nichi, bright plus day equals tomorrow. It basically means the bright after the dark, which eventually leads to the current meaning, which is tomorrow. Together, they're read as ashita. For these ones to make sense, you need to know that Japanese takes relative day references one step further than English does. We have yesterday, today, and tomorrow. They have words for the day before yesterday, yesterday, today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. This statement actually has three of those compounds. We have ashita again, which as we know means tomorrow, but then we have a new one here made up of past and day, which is kino, meaning yesterday. The third one is yesterday again, but with a 1 added in front of it. The 1 looks like a dash and will be the next kanji we study. So yesterday plus 1 gives us the word ototoi, which is the day before yesterday. While it's not here, asata is the day after tomorrow. To write it, we would add the kanji for after, between bright and day. This letter from Dr. Light to anyone who might be tempted to reactivate the experimental Rockman X, or Mega Man X for English audiences, has been dated. This is how the nichi kanji is used to express an absolute date. We start with a year, and in classic 90s game style, the last two digits of the year are obscured, followed by the kanji toshi, which means year. The Japanese then number their months rather than naming them. So here we have kugatsu, using the kanji for month or moon, so the 9th month, which is September. And finally, juhachi nichi, the 18th day. So this represents September 18th, 2000 XX. Boy has just found a shop selling the Shogun gear. Proudly awesome stuff because it's made in Japan. As a result, we see the name of Japan in this text box. It uses the kanji sun followed by hon. In this case, it is pronounced in Japan as Nippon. The second kanji is another pretty complicated one, but it's also used to mean origin or root, but also book. You can read the name of Japan as Daybook, but it's actually really the origin of the sun. Because Japan lies to the east of the mainland, and there were no known points further east, it made sense to refer to themselves as the origin of the sun, or as you may have heard, the land of the rising sun. If we flip the name of Japan around, we get Honjitsu, Origin Day, or this very day. The mystery shop owner is telling us about a special sale that applies just on this day. It's kind of a synonym for Kyo, but has a subtle difference in how we use it. We would say Kyo if we're saying today is Tuesday. We would say Honjitsu if we're creating a record saying that today an event happened. Honjitsu refers to a static day that will still be relevant in the past, while Kyo is always immediately and the current day. As you can see, I wasn't kidding. This is a very versatile kanji, and it's used to form so many ideas. The one here is nichi. It uses the kanji every or each, followed by day, meaning every day. There are other kanjis that could stand in here, but mai gives that sense of repetition. Something happens again and again. It kind of suits the woman's assertion that she went to hear God every single day. If you haven't played Willow on NES, it's got a pretty different story than the movie did, so this interaction actually does make sense. In Dragon Quest III Remake, the Battle Arena's concierge uses nichi in yet another way. The symbol after nichi isn't exactly a kanji. It's not a hiragana or a katakana either. It's more of a notation that doubles up on the kanji before it. So in effect, she is saying nichi nichi. It uses the he reading, which often when you have an H syllable in the second position, it's pronounced instead with a B, so we say hibi. Its meaning is pretty similar to mainichi, but it has a more grinding and gradual context. Day by day. Many kanji can use this notation to either compound or emphasize their meanings. So again, just to keep that fresh, kanji do not have one correct reading. They have a meaning, multiple possible readings, and those readings are chosen by context. This is normal. Native speakers don't think about it consciously, just like you don't panic that red can be past tense or present tense in English, because you can say read or read, and same spelling. Why nichi is such a good first kanji to learn? Nichi really teaches you almost everything you need to know. Kanji come from pictures, meanings come first, sound comes later. Readings change based on context, repetition builds understanding. And most importantly, kanji reward exposure, not memorization. Games are perfect for this. Here's how games do the teaching for you. Town signs would typically use onyomi. NPCs might use kunyomi. Menus repeat the same kanji over and over. You'll see nichi in days passing, save screens, calendars, story events. By the time the game explains nothing, you somehow understand everything. That's not magic, that's just kanji working as it's designed. If you remember one thing from this video, make it that kanjis are not puzzles to solve, they're systems to get used to. And nichi is the system's starting point. The sun rises, a day passes, the game continues, and next time we'll build on that.